Members, the little bit of good stuff that was in there, the nuclear study and some of the other things, it's all been stripped out. And I wish you would please, members, just do a research study on the internet of the risk of rolling blackouts to the MISO area. I mean, it's numerous articles, the Star Tribune, Center for the American Experiment, and I could go on, even some co-op ones. We are at high risk if we have a severe winter or very hot summer of rolling blackouts, because that's the path we're going down. We don't have the technology to provide baseload electricity with solar and wind. It is simply that easy to understand. And yet we blindly go down it for tax subsidies, other money coming from the federal government, who knows what else, driving this in a blinded towards a way to non-baseload electricity. You know, I shared this before, but I was also on the Energy Committee in the other body. And the last year I was there, the lead lobbyist, which also lobbies over here, he shared the ownership of solar gardens here in the state of Minnesota. And members, he shared that 13%, and again, this is, a couple years old and it's a moving target, but he said a couple years ago we had 13% of our solar gardens in Minnesota owned by Minnesota corporations and individuals. Then he said we had 67% of our solar gardens here in Minnesota owned by individuals and corporations outside the state of Minnesota. He specifically named one in the meeting we had, and that was Warren Buffett owns a lot of our solar gardens here in the state of Minnesota. So 67%. Then 20% of our solar gardens in Minnesota a couple years ago were owned by foreign corporations and individuals. So members, we are artificially inflating the cost of electricity, fleecing our own citizens, seniors and businesses and farms, and we're sending the majority of the money, about 87% of it a couple years ago, outside the state of Minnesota. That's what we're doing. And, just like so many other government initiatives, the sky is falling. The one thing I wish the people that run around with this anti-science scam of global warming, climate change, or whatever, I just wish they have freedom of speech, but I just wish they had a law that they have to wear Chicken Little outfits whenever they talk about it. The sky is falling and I need your money. That's what's going on. When government gets involved, unfortunately, they pick winners and losers, and the losers are the majority of people get to pay for the scam, the tax subsidized scam. And now we have the highest risk in the MISO area and Minnesota for rolling blackouts for our farms, businesses, and citizens. That's where we're going. It's a religion, a blinded anti-science religion. Give you one book to read, and there's dozens of them out there, if not hundreds, by two eminently qualified scientists. It's called Unstoppable Global Warming. Every 1,500 years, the Earth cools and warms. It's unstoppable. And it happened way before there were vehicles or things like that. The other thing is, inside this bill, and the reason we should vote to reject it, is this carbon pipeline study. God help us. Now, I have a medical device engineer who's from North Dakota. He owns a farm up there. He has done extensive study on putting these carbon pipelines in. This is funny farm stuff, expensive tax subsidized funny farm stuff. And they're fighting it up there. He's done extensive research on it. It's another scam. We could have penny cheap electricity if we went down the road of large hydro, nuclear, clean coal, and other baseload electricities. But we blindly go down this new religion of global warming. So members, please come to your senses. You know, it's easier to believe a lie you've been told 1,000 times than the truth the first time you hear it. It's time to deal with the truth. This is an anti-science, anti-baseload, expensive, and it's going to be, when we have to clean these windmills and these solar gardens up, it's going to be the biggest environmental disaster in the history of the state of Minnesota. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. One more thing. These corporations and LLCs, they're going to soak the money and profit out of these areas, windmills and solar, and then when it comes to clean this mess up, they're going to declare bankruptcy, and they're going to run off with the money from overseas and other parts of our countries. And guess who's going to get stuck cleaning this environmental disaster up? The ratepayers of the state of Minnesota. Please come to your senses. Quit believing in lies that are repeated 1,000 times, that exhaling now causes global warming. Ignorance can be fixed, stupid's forever. Please vote red. Thank you, Mr. President.